Hello, hello, hello. Yes, indeed. Here we are tonight at the Monterey. And I'd like to introduce a perfect example of what the world's coming to. It's
Let's go. Bum, 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 bum. The fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, the last name baby. The Lord knows what his first name is. I don't even know.
Tell the truth, everything else is a waste of time. Tell the truth, everything else is a waste of time.
Better. Not only teams of the team, and she just love. And if only ideas is be better. Not only teams of the team, learn to live and laugh. And if only teams be better. Not only teams of the team, and she just love. And if only ideas is be better. Not only teams of the team,
How do you see your role?
learn to live and laugh. And if only teams be better. Not only teams of the team, and she just love. And if only ideas is be better. Not only teams of the team, learn to live and laugh. And if only teams be better. Not only teams of the team, and she just love. And if only ideas is be better. Not only teams of the team, learn to live and laugh. And if only teams.
How do you see your role as a writer in shaping how you see the future?
Can you talk about how you see the future? Right now, I think that it's my first terrible experience. I wrote that I need to add that, but let's take a look at that's troubling. It's troubling to know there is an even greater risk forecast. And that does seem to be, the gap does seem to be widening. We get fewer and fewer middle class people because their jobs have gone off to some low-wage countries. How do you see your role as a writer in shaping how you see the future? Can you talk about how you see the future? Right now, I see it really my first terrible experience. I wrote that thinking about the future, thinking about the things that the future buying if we're not careful. I need to add that, but let's take a look at these people. And that's troubling. The parable of the sower, there is an even greater risk forecast than we've got now, for instance. And that does seem to be, the gap does seem to be widening. We get fewer and fewer middle class people because their jobs have gone off to some low-wage countries. Societies that don't have religions, whether they're secular or whatever, that have something. And so I thought she would wind up using religion as a tool. She has this destiny in mind for humanity. The destiny of Earth's seed, which is the name of her religion, is to take root among the stars. And whether you take that literally or figuratively, you're going to make yourself better. She takes it literally.
Immediately on wishing my mother dead and seeing the pain it caused her, I was sorry and cried so many tears that all the earth around me was drenched. Standing before my mother, I begged her forgiveness, and I begged so earnestly that she took pity on me, kissing my face and placing my head on her bosom to rest. Placing her arms around me, she drew my head closer and closer to her bosom until finally I suffocated. I lay on her bosom breathless for a time uncountable until one day, for a reason she has kept to herself, she shook me out and stood me under a tree, and I started to breathe again. I cast a sharp glance at her and said to myself, so. Instantly I grew my own bosoms, small mounds at first, leaving a small, soft place between them where, if ever necessary, I could rest my own head. Between my mother and me now were the tears I had cried, and I gathered up some stones and banked them in so that they formed a small pond. The water in the pond was thick and black and poisonous, so that only unnameable invertebrates could live in it. My mother and I now watched each other carefully, always making sure to shower the other with words and deeds of love and affection.
Quantum tunneling is responsible for many important phenomena such as the alpha decay of atomic nuclei and the operation of certain types of diodes. Yet quantum tunneling is completely contrary to our intuition about how the universe is supposed to work. This is because quantum tunneling has absolutely no analogy in classical physics. To understand quantum tunneling, we must understand that particles don't have a defined position until they're observed. Instead, all particles are described by what we call a wave.
Wow, last name baby. Lord knows what his first name is. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, Gwegwe, Paco, Soyo, Bobo, Stop!
Everything else is a waste of time.
Street, hide the alley tenement where she lives. Entering the narrow passageway into the alley, one crosses the threshold into a raucous, disorderly world.
Tell the truth, everything else is a waste of time.
Vulgar collectivism and anarchy. It is a world populated by the worst elements. It is a realm of excess and fabulousness. It is a wretched environment. It is the plantation extended into the city. It is a social laboratory. The ghetto is a space of encounter. The sons and daughters of the rich come in search of meaning, vitality, and pleasure. The reformers and sociologists come in search of the truly disadvantaged, failing to see her, her friends, thinkers, coordinates the beauty experiment adopted by the global cause. all out the dark ghetto, but soon only the black folks will remain. In the slum, everything is in short supply except sensation. The experience is too much. The terrible beauty is more than one could ever hope to assimilate, order, and explain. The reformers snap their pictures of the buildings, the kitchenettes, the clotheslines, and the outhouses. She escapes notice as she watches them from the third floor window of the alley house where she stays, laughing at their stupidity. They take a picture of Lombard Street when hardly no one is there. She wonders what fascinates them about the clotheslines and the outhouses. They always take pictures of the same stuff. Are the undergarments of the rich so much better? Is cotton so different than silk and not as pretty draped like a banner across the streets? The outsiders and the uplookers fail to capture it, get it right. All they see is a degree, want, related looks, and the pangs of desire, the concept of reactions, and the possibility of a life bigger than poverty, or the tumulting upheaval that can't be arrested by the camera. They fail to discern the beauty, and they see only the frustrated, missing all the ways black folks create life into an arena of elaboration. A half-dressed woman wearing a house coat over a delicate nightgown leans against the doorway, hidden by the shadows of the foyer, as she gossips with her girlfriend standing at the threshold. Intimate life unfolds in the streets. The journalists from Harper's Weekly gush in print, quote, above the Jews, in the same tenement houses, amid scenes of indescribable squalor and tawdry finery, dwell the Negroes leading their light-hearted lives of pleasure, confusion, music, noise, and fierce fights that make them a terror to white neighbors and landlords alike, end quote. Aroused at the sight of elegantly clad domestics, janitors, and stevedores, elevator boys in rakish hats preening on the corner, and aesthetical Negroes content to waste money on extravagance, ornament, and shine, the sociologist urges them to learn the value of the dollar and teach Negroes must abandon the lax moral habits, sensual indulgence, and careless excess that are the customs of slavery. The present past of involuntary servitude unfolds in the street and the home, which was broken completely by the slave ship and the promiscuous burning of the plantation, is now broken again, broken open to strangers. The senses are solicited and overwhelmed. Look over here, let your eyes feel. The handsome thugs lining the courtyard like sentinels, the immoderate display of three lovely flower pots arranged on the sill of a tenement window, the bed sheets, monogrammed handkerchiefs, embroidered silk hose, and whores' undergarments suspended on the line across the alley, broadcasting clandestine arrangements.
This is
The Lord knows what his first name is, like, I don't even know.
You can find her in the group of beautiful thugs and
This is this is
Tell the truth, everything else is a waste of time. Tell the truth, everything else is a waste of time.
Chérie. Laissez-moi où j'en ai de vous comme il détruit.
What?
Promettez-moi de vous où j'en ai détruit.
What you say?
you know, it would, and we could live so filled with all loveliness, and don't you? You know, it would, and we could live so filled with all loveliness, and don't you? You know, it would, and we could live so filled with all loveliness, and don't you? You know, it would, and we could live so filled with all loveliness, and don't you?
It was still too early for the poor sissies and toughs who plied
we
their
could
trade
live
in the
so
dumps.
filled with all
Families
loveliness,
gathered, awaiting
and don't you?
daughters and brothers and cousins. Thugs and gangsters lurked at the outskirts of
and
the
we
crowd,
could live
on
so
the lookout for
filled with
naive
all
women in
loveliness,
search of
and
directions,
don't you?
or in need of help with a heavy piece of baggage.
It would,
When Maddie Nelson arrived
and we
in
could
New York
live
City,
so
she was
filled
merely
with
a
all
woman,
loveliness,
teen.
and don't
She
you?
was a tall, thin, dark-skinned girl, the
It
kind
would,
only a father would have ever
and we
described
could
as
live
lovely,
so
and the
filled with
kind
all
that made
loveliness,
the negress
and don't you?
to make apparent their contempt and scorn. It would be a decade before the thick hair tamed in braids and pinned in a bun on the top of her head, prominent cheekbones, almond-shaped eyes.
there's another layer of it. For instance, if there's a geological metaphor, another layer of the crust would be, it's a description of a relationship between the colony and the colonizer. The mother becomes a mother country and the child becomes a colony. And in fact, growing up, our childhood, I would say, I can speak for the Anglophone Caribbean of my time, was very much based on that relationship of power in the parents and rigid control over the life of the powerless little child, and a lot of cruelty inflicted on us children. Then we grew up and repeated, and even in our political structures, we grew up, became independent, and repeated the corruption that ruled us. All of these little independent countries are just full of corrupt people. So one thing we learned from the mother, from the center, is how to steal legitimately and to make the illegitimate legitimate.
Yeah, I want to.
I've left you breathless. I'm so sorry.
The sky is a sea of darkness when there is no sun. The sky is a sea of darkness when there is no sun to light the way. When there is no sun to light the way, there is no day. Sea of darkness. The sky is a sea of darkness when there is no sun. The sky is a sea of darkness when there is no sun to light the way. When there is no sun to light the way, there is no day. There is no day. There's only darkness. Eternal sea of darkness.
Swiss-born, but spent most of his professional life in America, in fact, at Caltech. What he did was he studied a large cluster of galaxies. That was the whole cluster. It has 1,000 galaxies. The whole galaxy that has itself billions of stars. So this is a massive structure in there. All these galaxies are bound together by their mutual gravity. And what he found is that the speed that these galaxies are moving within the cluster is faster than the collective gravity of each galaxy can sustain. In other words, at the speeds he found them moving, the galaxies should have flown apart from one another long ago. They're not. They're bound together. They're still bound together. They didn't fly apart. He proposed that there's some missing mass that must lurk somewhere within the cluster whose extra gravity he was tracking. Now, this result turned out to be true for every single cluster ever measured, ever since. Back then it was known as the missing mass problem. Today, we call it the dark matter problem. Fast forward to 1976. Carnegie astrophysicist Louis Farrell. She was studying the rotation of spiral galaxies, spiral galaxies. And what she found is that they were rotated faster than the known mass within the galaxy should allow. Dark matter, it turned out, was not a problem in the galaxy. It was a problem that revealed itself even within galaxies themselves. Could it be dark clouds, black holes, dark planets, anything dark? No. If it has substance, then it cannot be made of anything. Familiar materials, they absorb, reflect, crack, and otherwise interact with light and other materials. But this stuff doesn't interact with anything at all, not even itself. It only reveals itself to us through gravity. There's a fundamentally different thing going on than any possible measurements that our own familiar materials would reveal. So, you could ask, could it be an undiscovered family of particles that barely interact with our particles? Sure, why not? That's God's own favorite scenario. Top particle physics working on. Could it be a failure in our concept of gravity? In other words, do we need a new theory of gravity to account for it? Unlikely, but the top gravity theorists are working on that one too. They call it MOG, Modified Intelligence Dynamics. Seems like whatever's your specialty, the solution resides within your expertise. Reminds me of the old adage, we were hammered. The dark problem with the dark matter problem was like a picture. You know my favorite possibility? Maybe the dark matter is ordinary of an 85% more massive parallel universe influencing ours by gravity leakage from one universe to another. I like that one. If so, it would be the first evidence of other universes. And yet, evidence was there. Dark matter is the longest
dark matter I'll call Fred, dark energy Barney. It doesn't matter because they're just placeholders to accommodate our ignorance. You don't want to read too much into those words. So, here's how it works. It's a collective mass of all the galaxies in the universe. All there was. Then the expansion of the universe should be slowing down, not speeding up. Gravity is an attractive force, resisting expansion. What we found is that there's a mysterious pressure operating in a vacuum of space, and it's combating the gravity and winning. We don't know its origin. We don't know what it is. We're not even sure of its long-term effects. Turns out, Albert Einstein, after he published his new theory of gravity in 1916, that's of course the general theory of relativity, he noticed that it predicted a universe that should either be contracting or expanding. Now, that's odd. How could everything you know, how could the universe do anything if it is everything? This is a profound scientific and philosophical dilemma. Unthinkable concept. And if it's expanding or contracting, compared with what? And so Einstein added a mathematically legitimate term to his equation. That term allowed him to stabilize collapsing influence in a way to hold up the universe against its. And that way, keep the universe the same size, whatever its size. Within just a few years, after Edwin Hubble showed that the universe was indeed expanding, Einstein rapidly introduced stabilizer term. You know what he called it? He called the introduction of that term the greatest blunder of the world. He knew, or he felt deep inside, that that term could not be anything physical. There's nothing in the universe that repels matter. Not on large scale. A magnet can do it. But on large scales, there's no known thing that can repel matter. So this term that he added to his equation, he was very uncomfortable about that. That's what left him to call it the greatest blunder of my life. Turns out, the measurement and existence of dark energy is precisely that term in his equation. What that term in his equations do is exactly what we see dark energy doing in the cosmos. So, in fact, Einstein's greatest blunder was saying that the inclusion of that anti-gravity term was his greatest blunder. Isn't it great to be so smart that you're right even when you're wrong? So, here's what you do. You take the energy contained in what we call dark energy, and it's 70% of all that drives the universe. Include with that percentage the dark matter, and we are driven to the humble, mind-blowing conclusion. 96% of all that is the universe is not anything we even remotely understand. 96%. And that all of our laws of physics, everything we know, love, interact with, and understand, or even can predict anything about the future, that falls into the 4% that remains. Now, actually, it gets worse. Our most successful theory of the universe, quantum physics, allows you to calculate what you might expect to be the energy contained in the vacuum of space. We can do that calculation. It allows it. It predicts that there should be energy there. Right? We do the calculation. Quantum physics has never been wrong.
Tell the truth,
It's our best
everything else is a waste
understanding
of time.
going. When you do that calculation, the answer you get does not match reality. The answer you get is off by a factor of 10 to the 20th power. That's a 1 followed by 100. Now, observation that there ever was in the history of science. That's our state. That's our state of the science today. So, we are not only ignorant, our best theories and experiments can't guide us. So, I think that means we're driving blind. So those two claims are fundamentally different from the assertion that we will never go faster. Doesn't mean we haven't thought about it. In fact, there's a hypothetical particle that was invented just to accommodate what would happen if we went faster than light. And they're called tachyons, from the Greek root of that word meaning speed. Tachometer has the same root as the word tachyon. These are hypothetical particles. We've never found one. But we imagine, what would it be like if particles existed faster than light? Well, it turns out Einstein's relativity tells us you can't accelerate any material object to reach the speed. But if you put in an object that exists faster than light, you can still run through all the equations, and the equations don't lie. But some interesting properties emerge. For tachyons, what do you get? They exist faster than light. It will require an infinite amount of energy to slow them down to the speed of light. So in fact, they can never reach the speed of light. And because they're going faster than the speed of light, they live backwards in time. How would you ever detect such a thing? Well, here's what you do. You find out what kind of interaction your tachyon would have with particles that exist in your present. So as they go backwards in time, they have to share your present, even if for only an instant. So we looked at what energies the tachyon would have, what particle interactions might be favored for a tachyon. Look for them, we've never found them. And so to this day, a tachyon remains an intellectual curiosity that itself does not violate any known laws of physics, because it's not crossing the speed of light barrier. It's existing faster than. But the day we find a particle faster than light, we bet pretty sure that it'll have all the properties that I just described, which would make it one of the coolest particles ever discovered.